Come on. There you go. We are live.
Are we live?
We just went live.
All right. You want me to start?
Well, what day or week? Yes. Go for it, Catherine.
All right. So where are we at? Today is a Thursday, March 12th. Is it not? It is. And so we got lots of things going on. We got lots of stuff going on. It's a busy, busy time. That's what I can say for sure. So people are asking, where are our signs? Well, our signs are en route. So don't worry, we got signs coming and we will get everything together.
We're saving the best for last, because we're letting all them put their signs up so we know where not to go.
Right. Right.
I mean, just like those Culp signs, Catherine. You do
well,
realize
that's a little off the chain.
But you went out there on that property, and that's another former national, well, I don't know about national priority list Superfund site, but it's definitely a Superfund site.
Right.
Which we already said we wouldn't talk about it because it was a city thing. So I'll leave that for another podcast while you're on, or whatever happens in the next week. So I won't. We don't have to talk about that. But man, that it is. Yeah, them signs. That's a Superfund site area, and I can't believe anybody's out there putting signs up because I would not want to trek out in that. We don't know what's underneath the ground. They said Tuesday, that there was something about, and I'll just give you there was a little hint on what they were talking about at the Anderson Redevelopment Commission. They said something about remediation with Plant 7, okay? But they were talking about the EPA. And then he mentioned something about a plume. Greg Winkler did. So Greg Winkler mentioned something about another plume that we have not been paying. We didn't know about it. We've been paying attention to the Superfund site, the National Priority List Superfund site, with 3 plumes over by Broadway and Grand. And out of all the meetings for the past 2 years, not one time have they mentioned anything about a plume being over by Plant 7. I've never heard them say anything about a plume. They talk about the fish kill from the 90s. I did, when I went back and re-listened to the footage from Tuesday, because I'm getting ready to put all of it up on YouTube, I did hear them say the plume had been there for over 60 years. So that proves whatever they're putting in the newspaper is a lie. But that's another story for another day. But anyway, plume, there's some type of contamination plume under the old Plant 7 over there off of Scatterfield, or by Plant 18. And that's just, wow. So I won't go too much more. I realized I was going off on a tangent and we weren't supposed to talk about that. So what do you want to talk about, Catherine? What do you want to talk about?
We can talk about anything you want. I'm sorry that I am not much help when it comes to this city, because I haven't really followed that as closely as you have. So I'm just trying to get our word out here on social media so people can join in tonight and ask us questions because, well, there's always a lot to discuss around here. So,
and I'm still in timeout until July 2026, so I can't share nothing on there. All I can do.
So we'll just do it this way. Well, there's just too much going on, too fast, too quickly. So I have some concerns that were brought to me, and I want to take this to the public now. One is that, and again, this is hearsay, so I don't know anything more than this being hearsay. Evidently, I have called Jonathan Culp out on using county email on his political information. And if anybody is out there who is listening, about 12 years ago, and I know I've said this, Ashley, I don't know if her name was Ashley, but the last name was Shelton, was our recorder. And she did something, or someone in her department did something, and they used county email for something political, and she was forced to resign, and she did. And so now we're in this trivial pursuit again of Jonathan Culp. Now, there is some scuttle that's going around, and I'm got to figure out how we're going to be able to prove this. At the last council meeting, before they got started, evidently there was some talk to the county attorney in which we, the taxpayers, pay for. Please understand, we, the taxpayers, pay for. And there was some talk about potentially that county attorney giving information to Jonathan Culp saying, no, you can use that information, and that I was wrong.
Oh, boom.
Now, here's my problem with that. If you're using our county attorney for anything political, we got another problem on our hands.
Oh, yeah. And that's the new guy, right? The bald guy? That's the new bald guy attorney?
Yeah. So that's another thing that I'm looking into. I'll have to go back. And of course, they don't have the recording on prior to the meeting. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to talk to some attorneys and find out about this. I just found that was pretty interesting, and I wanted to share that with others. Again, that is just what is being speculated. I have to find that out. But I thought, maybe somebody was there who might have heard that, or might have seen that, or might have it on recording. And I wanted to just share as much as I could with the people. So we only get through this when the people get involved. That is the only way through it. There is no other way through it. I can't do it alone. Nicole can't do it alone. We just can't do it alone. It's going to take it to you. And, I will say the hardest part of running for any election is that you have no control. You have no control over what's going to happen. You have no control over what's going on in the clerk's office, right? You have no control over if ballots are being manipulated. You have no control over what's going on with any electioneering inside the polls. You have no control. You're really at the mercy of these people. And that is really hard, because I'm used to always being in control. So that's an interesting thing.
I got sidetracked. I was going to make a joke about you being in control, and I started seeing we got some commenters over on YouTube, and I didn't get to do my little funny jab. Go ahead.
So,
sorry.
I mean, we all have to get involved. We all have to. And for the people who are out there, this is what I find interesting. So, I've noticed, Nicole, that you have some haters, right? Like we all do. And
oh my goodness.
Obviously, we are shaking some bushes when we have that much popularity, right? And so this is what I encourage people to do. If people want to critique us, and they want to talk about us, or they want to share information about us, please do. Right? We welcome you, because at the end of the day, Nicole, negative press is still press, right? I mean, Jonathan Culp should be loving us. As much as I've put out with Jonathan Culp, like, he should be so excited that I'm doing that, because negative advertisement is still advertisement.
Yeah.
Right? But here is what I want to tell people. It's really hard to run for election. So if you are
the other thing about that is everybody thinks they understand what constitutional rights are until you start running for office, and then you start realizing the difference between hate speech and freedom of speech. There's a fine line between those,
right.
And then when people start crossing the line into hate speech and just basically antagonistic, trying to get somebody to fight them kind of thing, that's no longer freedom of speech.
Right.
So what we do is not hate speech.
Right. And the what people misunderstand is truth is truth. That's not hate. The flyer that was put out with me, that's hate.
Right? Oh yeah.
Because they knew that none of those things were true. That's what hate is.
You see
when
this
you put out false information in order to get a reaction like that, that's what becomes the problem. And just like, Teresa Smock is saying, another Culp flyer, that makes 6 flyers that he has put out.
I can't even
started this campaign. He is killing it. But
I make as much money as he does, and I can't pay for one.
Well, and you know why he has more money is because he doesn't have to pay for any more signs.
That's right, because he's using the repurposed ones.
Exactly. And then he's using his mom. Nobody's calling them on it. Nobody is making. And again, I encourage people to please go knock on people's doors who have these big Culp signs in their yards. Please ask them, okay, please tell me why this young man's sign is in your yard. What does he have to offer us in the county?
That makes no sense to me. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what he's doing at the county council, which leads into whatever, you just kind of talked about it, and you can't really hear what they're saying on the Dave Sargent cam. So I went and did some screen recon from the courthouse cam, and even I can't really make out because I think they muted their microphones when they were up there, so you can't really hear what the attorney
and
is
saying. You can put in a FOIA for the microphones themselves.
Really?
Yeah. So you can put a FOIA in for that.
Okay, that makes sense. For each individual microphone, or just the whole sound?
Oh. You can just put their names down, and you want the recordings off of each one of those microphones. I mean, that's the reality of it. People, you need to understand, when people get up to these podiums and these dioceses, they are all like, hey, you, the public, have to speak up. But when we ask them to speak up, they get a lot more quiet. Why is that? What are we missing here? I mean, you wanted our vote. You'll spend how long with us on the sidewalk, and then you get up there, and then it's like, yeah, we don't want anybody to hear us. Well, stand behind it. Be proud of who you are. People say all the time to me, they're like, well, you're yelling. I'm not yelling. This is my normal voice. And guess what? It'll be my normal voice no matter where I'm standing, because I feel like people have the right to hear what their response is. You shouldn't have to look at me and act like you have to read my lips.
Oh, right.
That's kind of where we're at with this. And I kind of am interested to see if Rodney does anything with the complaints. And if he listen, people, we're in a win-win either way. Okay. If Rodney doesn't do anything with the complaints in the emails, and he makes an excuse up for it, and Jonathan wins, and he's got a very good chance at winning because name recognition, and this becomes a complete disaster, and Andrew Hanna is pulling out his hair. Well, guess what, Andrew Hanna? Your mentor set you up for complete disaster. That's what that will be. And so sometimes we all just have to be patient and let time take its course.
Kind of. I mean, that's where we're at right now, because I mean, we've ruffled so many feathers. We've asked so many questions to the point that I've received a false protective order. They've made so many false statements about me, and I wasn't even an elected official. I was just a regular Joe citizen activist for a little bit, trying to get some answers. So, and
that's all I was. I was just trying to get us a morgue. That's all Catherine wanted, was a morgue. So it does appear that the county did sign a 1-year contract for the sheriff's department. Now, the other interesting part to Tuesday night's meeting is, does anybody ever recall last year, because I sure don't, does anybody recall where they said that every department will have to cut an employee?
Yes, I heard them saying it in
but they just said
November.
Well, they said that they would do a reduction of percentage, but I don't recall them talking about an employee in each department.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So I think this is what's going to get real interesting. So every department has to cut somebody, but think about it.
It's hurtful.
Think about it. The commissioners
have contact us if you get fired. Come contact us.
But the commissioners have 2 people. They have Tom Eckert, and then they have Rhonda Burton or something. I don't know what her name is.
Yeah, I think
here's the thing. If you cut one of those, which it really should be Tom Eckert because he makes like close to $70,000 or $80,000. Remember, he got a $10,000 raise just by moving over in a lateral move, and he wasn't even qualified for the job. Like you have to have a college degree. He doesn't even have a college degree, and they still gave him a $10,000 raise. So, and I want people to think back when Kelly Gaskell was a commissioner, they took away those people in the commissioners, and she had to do it all herself. I agree. I think that they should get rid of both Tom and Rhonda, and the commissioners should have to divide that work up and do it themselves.
Yeah,
they don't need an extender. They don't need a secretary. They need to do the job. I mean, they make close to $50,000 with full benefits. They meet twice a week or twice a month for what, 20 minutes? And we're paying this much money. They can write their own notes with AI now. They can have that, typed up for them. They can type up agendas. They do not need to do this. And so I really think that if the county council really means what they're saying, get rid of the commissioner's office altogether. That would save us right there, would save us almost over $100,000, and benefits would even take us over the top in retirement.
So did they say that at the end of the last meeting?
So at the last meeting, they said that. And so this is, I guess the departments are like just fuming mad over this. And then on top of it, they're supposed to cut their budget by, I don't know, 5 or 10%. So this is going to get real interesting real quick, because if this county does not get a lot more responsible, let me tell you that this county will be as bad as Alexandria by 2028.
Oh, I think we're I don't know. We just haven't caught him yet. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh no, it's coming. Listen, it's absolutely coming. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, sorry. I got an email. I got messages today from someone talking about Jonathan Culp on one of the other like neighbor apps from yesterday. Oh, I'm going to have to forward that. And I shouldn't even interrupted you right then, because
no, you're fine.
Then I have to go over there and I have to screen it. But supposedly he's been getting on these next door neighbor apps and stuff, trying to get, talk to voters. And so yesterday or the day before, we need to get Dory Fergan on here. She's the one that was asking him a bunch of questions, and he blows smoke. So
you got to do screenshots, right? And you got to put them out for the people to see, because not everybody's on those apps.
Right. And she sent them to me. We've been so busy with the remediation thing from Tuesday. Then I went into the remediation. Then it went straight into county council.
Yeah. Tuesday was a busy day.
I mean, it's like every day. And I meant to go to the tobacco, alcohol committee yesterday, and I wasn't able to get there. But I think the whole week has been super busy. What was Monday? Oh, that was the safety board. Did you see that? Did you tune in on Monday?
Nope, I didn't see. When it comes to the city of Anderson, I'm so busy with the county, I don't get too much out of the city of Anderson at all.
Well, they didn't even, to me, just a snippet, like, I got on there, did a live. The meeting was less than 3 minutes. I don't even think they prayed. I don't think they did the Pledge of Allegiance, which, I'm not such a big stickler on some of that as what I probably should be. But, I was okay. They went straight into the meeting. But then it was the end that was just like, they didn't even do a motion for an adjournment. They just was like, cut the feed, and then the feed goes off. And I'm like, how is that not violate Robert's rules? And I thought all the boards, regardless if they were city or county, they still had to follow Robert's rules.
So they did show an adjournment?
No, they didn't. They just said, cut it off, or let's cut it off.
So how do you know the meeting ended?
That I don't know. That's why I'm like,
that's what becomes the problem, is people are going to have to start filing violations with the public access coordinator. And, you and I can't
do everything.
And we can't, more people are just going to have to get involved. That's the only thing I can say. And I know people are busy working, and it's very hard to be that involved. But if we all divided up different
Task.
meetings and stuff, we would be able to get it accomplished.
Because we need more videographers. We need more people willing to go to these meetings and record for us. And I can be the eye in the sky and put everything out there for everybody. I just need the people with the cameras.
Right. And so, and here's the thing, you putting it on video, on live video, doesn't mean you're for or against it. You're just sharing with the community. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, they don't let us communicate on there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, okay. And when they took away Rebecca's stuff, then we had nowhere for us to come together as a community and actually have conversations about these, the meetings. And so we've brought that back the last couple of weeks. We've had a few minor technical, issues, but, we'll get there.
Right. And you're right, Karen. It's very hard to learn everything that you need to know. And what's been interesting to me with like what Karen's saying is, like, I put the stuff up about Jonathan Culp signs and the email, and there's literally people on there. They're like, what's the big deal? So it's this one. Well, and this is how we've gotten here. We have let things slide so much with officials that look at where we're at today. We pay for everything. We pay for their vehicles. We pay for their gas. We pay for their abuse. We pay for their taxes. We pay for their property taxes. I mean, it's gotten so out of control because people, and it's funny because a guy got on there today and he was mad because I put that up about Jonathan's, it not meeting the standards of what it's supposed to, and that using the county email. And he goes, I'm not voting for you or Gaskell. Okay, well, that's fine. Then you don't get to complain. Okay. When it comes to me doing my job, when I'm the senator, don't come to me and say, X, Y, and Z, because my answer is, remember, you didn't vote for that, right? Because that's kind of how I feel. If you want to complain, then you need to vote. Then you can complain away, right? I mean, you vote, I vote. So what do? We complain.
I want to talk about Teresa Smock's comment right here. I've had a couple people tell me they checked their voter registration and discovered they had been dropped due to not have voted the last two presidential
elections. If they haven't voted in the last two presidential elections, they just said, okay, they're not voting. So they've just dropped them.
Is that the voters registration? Yeah. Or is that it's automatic?
Well, I think they go through the voters roll and they get to decide. And I don't know that they have a logarithm or anything or what they decide. They just decide. And I would think they would call them and stuff, but this is Madison County. And so I think it's going to be a rude awakening because I know there's a lot of people who are going to go out to vote. And at my office, we are checking people's voter registration when they are coming in to make sure that it is active. We're checking their kids when their kids come in to make sure they're all active and people are registered to vote. So, and here's the thing, who actually trusts the polls? Well, I agree with you. Whoever you are, I absolutely agree with you on that. We've seen it firsthand in the clerk's office. We saw Linda Smith and the people who run those machines totally sidetrack the community that's in the room while they told the other people to go out and make up ballots and come back in and manipulate the machines. So I totally get what you're saying. And the only way this is going to stop is we're going to have good candidates who run. We're going to have people who actually get in and complain. We're going to have people who go to canvassings. We're going to have people who are willing to go to different poll sites. And when you go to vote, you record what's going on. You can record all your stuff. That is your right. If you want to walk into the polls with a Facebook Live and the camera is completely on you, and you are checking in, you can do that. It's your right. If you want to get to the machine and then turn the camera around to show everybody you vote for, it's your right. I mean, it's your information.
Okay, now
even though we've lost faith in the system, this is why we just have to have so many people show up and vote so that we can catch them in the cheating. There's no question. There is no question that it's going on.
So the last couple weeks, we've got a lot of stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks or the next month. I mean, we're literally going to start having shows like almost every single day. And one of the things I wanted to do before I started talking about, like we talk about the Democrats being signed off on to run as Republicans, vice versa. And so I went out and requested everybody's voting history. But remember, you had the guy that said he went, what was his story? And I can't remember.
We've had people reach out to us and we've pulled their voting history for them. And what's happened is they did go in to vote, but it never registered into the system. So I highly encourage people, after you vote, you need to start checking your voter registration to make sure that it counted.
Right.
So and that's going to be the other big thing that we're going to have to figure out, why they are losing so many ballots. I don't know how many college kids have told me that their mail-in ballots were lost and they did not come back and they did not get registered, so their vote didn't count. So we really need to figure out what's going on with that. What is this?
Yeah, because remember, because that seemed to be like a trending factor, and then like that's how they were able to possibly boot the two what was it, not Aaron Thrasher, but they got Aaron
Garinger, yeah,
and Garinger, but it's the other guy, Gavin, the young man from, like, I think Lafayette,
20-year-old.
yeah
And here's the thing, this mentality right here, if you're for the people in the Constitution, you'll be blackballed. Well, here's the thing. It just makes you a whole lot more popular.
It does.
It really does. Because I think so many of the people are just sick of it. They're just tired of it and they've had enough. So that's the whole big part to all of this, is what they want to do is they want you to go stand in the corner, go away, don't bring any more of this to light.
Well, don't record me.
That's never going to happen. Okay. I'm always going to stand up for what I believe in and whatever anybody else brings to me that needs to be discussed, if it warrants a discussion. And so I just want everybody to know, the only way we're going to win this is for you, the people, to get out there and talk to your people. This week, I had somebody come in and they said, I privately share your posts. And every time I do, they said, I don't know how many people come back and say, is this lady for real? And they're like, she's the real deal. And they're like, we had no idea. And they go, this is why you need to vote for her. That's what we need. I don't care if my post gets 0 shares where it's going on every page. What I care about is that you are being infectious and making changes amongst your people in your community. That's what has to happen. And so, that's kind of where we're at with all of this. It's going to take more than just me. We've got people who are like, where's your billboards? Where's your signs? Well, here's the thing. Billboards don't vote.
Right.
Signs don't vote. People vote. That's who votes.
People are going to forget about those signs, or we're going to annoy them with those signs, and then they'll be mad because we posted them in the wrong spot, or whatever. They say all kinds of stuff.
They do. And so the thing that everybody needs to remember is, if we show up for our candidates, we will win this. We will absolutely win this, and we will be able to eventually start taking pieces of the community back. Yeah. And that's the whole reason why I ran for Senate, because our entire community needs help. And now I can go into these meetings and say, when they say, well, you're not from this area, you stay down in LaPelle, I can say, no, I represent all the people in the county or over in Hamilton County.
Right.
And that's what people have to start doing. They have to start voting for people who show up and actually put their words into action. That's what they have to do. I don't know why we keep voting for people who give you a bunch of empty promises.
So this guy, JB the Ghost, he says it's as if If he's referencing, I don't see him on the YouTube. I don't know if he's on.
Yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about, so we'll move
It
on.
might be with the sign. So all I was going to say to him is they're en route. We just had to go through the we had to go through them, which he probably doesn't know, the hearings. We had to go through the hearings. That's what postponed us. And then we're just waiting on the signs to get done. That's it.
Yeah,
They'll be here soon.
It's interesting to me what's going to happen here as we move forward. And I think things are going to really heat up a lot more. But
oh yeah,
like, you know,
okay, speaking of which, what's happened this week? Well, you don't know because you have a full-time job, and I've been running a lot of the social media groups and stuff, and we've had how many people? Well, a lot of, I'm probably blocked by more local elected officials than anybody I know. And here recently, all the people that has blocked me in the last couple of years, all of a sudden are popping up in our groups, but they still have me blocked.
Well, I think it's great that they're popping up, and it's okay that you're blocked because they're seeing other people's posts.
Oh yeah,
and sharing. So it's fine.
What? Okay, so we started out. Shoot, when we teamed up 2 years ago, 2024, we started out with what I tell you, we had like maybe less than 1,000 followers and zero, less than maybe 100 viewers. And so within the last 2 years, let's say we're up to almost 30,000 members or users in the miscellaneous groups. We now have multiple websites. We now have, well, we got a new YouTube channel, which as soon as we get through some red tape on that, that will be going live. And how many viewers? Well, I'm still in timeout, so my views are being throttled, and I'm still hitting 100,000 plus on my views. But how many people in the last few months have your views? What are your views, Catherine? What are you up to?
Well, my views are over 4 million, and that's a great thing. And at the end of the day, we only have 129,000 residents.
Right.
So we're becoming more and more infectious throughout the community because people want to hear and see, because we are making a difference. Let there be no mistake. We are making a difference. And what I want people to understand as we make this difference, May 5th will tell Nicole and I what we're supposed to be doing, right? So if we lose, maybe our role is to keep informing the people, right? But if we win, maybe our role is to keep informing the people, but also represent the people. So this is going to be a sign to kind of tell us what we're supposed to be doing. And as everybody saw, people want to get on here and they're like, oh, but you lost the auditor's race. Okay.
It just left room for this one.
But what happened? I never gave up on the people, right? I still continued to fight for the people and what's right. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, here you are. You guys voted for Todd Culp as your auditor. Todd Culp promised you that he would have all the finances online, and they're not up.
They're not online, are they?
No. I mean, that's what you wanted. You wanted empty promises. You want to hear somebody's platform. That gets those votes going. Well, why do you keep voting for empty promises? Have you not figured out yet that these elected officials will promise you the world, and then once they get into that seat, they don't want to, they have amnesia.
Right. I've noticed that. I don't ever feel like I've truly been represented until I met you, Catherine. And then I was like, hey, I like that lady. And I never thought in a million years that we would be here, one. Or I thought people were only mean to me until I met you. And then I was like, oh, Lord, they're meaner to Catherine than they are to me. And that's what hurt my feelings the most when, just getting to know you. And I feel like you would represent me perfectly.
Right. And that's what people have to decide. They have to decide, what do you want? Do you want the person who goes in and goes in and will hold other people and officials accountable? Or do you want the person who's just going to go in and toe the party line? I don't know. You have to kind of tell me what it is that you want.
Yeah, I don't want a party line tower. I don't. I want somebody that's gonna ask the uncomfortable questions. I think somebody was telling me about one of my haters today. Oh, he only makes truthful statements and the truth hurts. And I'm like, well, that's the point. He's not making truthful statements. He's carrying false information about me, which is hurtful. I lost my train. Sorry.
And let me give you some advice, Nicole. Let me give you some advice. The truth never needs to be defended.
That was what you kept telling me, but it still hurts.
Again, the truth never needs to be defended. And so what I want to tell people is you're going to see a lot of exciting stuff out. I know we haven't been on here since Sunday because it's been so crazy busy, and we will try to get more into a rhythm and get a time down and get some things really going that can really help you. So this JB Goes says, so what's the plan to help her district in the state as state senator?
I was about to answer him, tell him to come over on Heads Up, but go ahead.
Well, here's my plan. I'm already living it. And if you can't see my plan by now, people certainly see that those parks aren't going in, those trails aren't going in. There's lots of questions going on. Finances are being exposed. I'm already at the podium. This is what you get with Catherine Callahan. You get accountability. That's my plan for my district, because my district is tired of paying taxes that are crazy. My district is tired of being abused. My district is tired of paying for $100 million jail that's completely out of control, that now is at $115 million. I
was going to say, that's way more than
right now. My district is tired and exhausted. And again, what did Catherine do? I don't care what anybody says. It is absolutely clear that Jessica Bastine is not in her role, in her position, because of all the posts and exposure we've made, especially with that. Now, this guy here, he wants to say that's not the job of a senator, though. Well, let me explain something to you. The job of the senator is not to forget about the people that he represents. And that's exactly what's gone on in Madison County. See, everybody wants this ideal thing, right? What am I going to do? Oh, believe me, I'm going to continue to do what I do in the county, but I'm quite the multitasker, right? So I'm going to stand at that podium and talk about healthcare reform. I'm going to stand up there and talk about how the people are ripped off paying insurance premiums, and then they go into the doctor and the insurance covers nothing. I'm going to go and make rules about how we're getting our information from county government. Why everything's not online, I have no idea.
In elections, wouldn't you? Didn't we talk about that the other day? I mean,
yes. I mean, and we're not going to rehash that. But here's the thing: what is the job of a state senator? What is it, JB the Ghost? What is it that our senator has done for us in the county? If you're so great at what the senator should be doing, tell me, what has been his accomplishments? Because I'm not so sure that what we are doing in the Senate House is what should be being done.
Ooh, there's
right.
One.
So I love it when people are like, but that's not your role. Well, it's kind of like work, right? We all go to work and everything's really busy. And then the person says, well, that's not my job. That's the county council's job. Well, that's not my job. That's the commissioner's job. Well, this is the problem. Even with with voters. Well, my job is what my constituents need. That's what my platform is. That's what my job is. And I am not weak at figuring out what they need. Not know how many digits you have, Catherine, but you surpassed all I've tried to use.
I don't know what you're saying there. You might have to rephrase that for us.
I don't know what that means either.
But but Splinter was saying something about the 911 dispatchers training. We've fought in.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna answer this. So this guy says, I'm not here to say that the current man is good or bad. Well, you should be, because if you've been watching who my opponent is, you should know what he's voted for and what he hasn't voted for. So you should know that. I'm here to ask you what you are doing. You are the person running, not me. Well,
you're running.
If you haven't been watching me for 6 years, I don't know what more I can tell you. What I'm doing, I'm speaking on behalf of the people who are getting ripped off. There's no way I would have signed that Senate Bill 1.
No,
the original one, yes, but not the one that they finally proposed. That was a nightmare. And I'm telling you right now, what they did is they said, oh, this is the smoke and mirrors. So we're going to give you a tax break, but we're going to raise your property taxes. And then when they finally figure it out, when they do the taxes this year, they're going to be like, there was no break. No. And I'm telling you right now, just like at the county council, they're not going to be short money from State Bill 1 or Senate Bill 1. You just wait and watch. They need to wait till after June and then decide what they need to cut and what they don't need to cut, because we're how many days? What, 75 days away from June where we'll know what the fallout is?
Well, they did say something about that Tuesday night at county council.
I mean, that's the whole thing is, for me, I want what all my constituents want. I want better health care. I want better access. I want responsible government. I want decreased property taxes. I want to see that anybody over the age of 65 no longer pays property taxes.
I like that idea.
I want to see that if somebody pays off of their home early and they're in their 40s or 50s, that they no longer have to pay property taxes. But because people are not taught how to save money, they would have to take the money that they were making on their mortgage payment or their property taxes, and a certain percentage of that would have to go into a retirement fund to help those people save that money, so we're not doing as much to care for people because people can't ever retire. And the problem becomes, if we don't help people learn how to save money when they've done certain things, our children are never going to have jobs because people are working until their 80s. And so that's becoming a problem. You're seeing all these college kids come out of college and they can't get a job because there's no jobs to be had. Right. And so there's lots of things that we can sit and talk about, but what I'd like to hear is, what would you like to see come out of the Senate House?
No, one thing you would do is you'd get us a morgue. And the other thing I know you wouldn't have done, you wouldn't have voted to make homelessness illegal. Because that's basically what they just did a few weeks ago. Well, camping outside illegal.
Yes, and he signed for that. My opponent
did.
Signed for that. And so there's just so much out there. And somebody said Catherine's ability to work in jobs and helping people. I've always managed both. I've never been, like, oh, I can only concentrate on this or I can only concentrate on that. I think what makes me more powerful as a senator is that I'm actually living it with people who can't afford health insurance. They can't afford care, and people are sicker and sicker and sicker because they're waiting longer and longer to go. Right. And so by the time they get there, their acuity is so much higher, and it takes us so much more work and medicines to get them healed. And we've got to get better at access. We've got to get better at coverage. We should never be at this point. And the medicines are just, I have drug reps come in all the time, and I'm like, that's a great drug. That's a phenomenal drug, but nobody can afford it. And that's another thing that needs to be reined in. These prices are just crazy with drugs, and you can't dangle these in front of people's faces and then say you can't have any. I don't understand why GLP-1s are so expensive. Weight loss medicines. I can't even begin to fathom what those are, because on the black market, it's very, very cheap. And so what are we paying for? Well, we're kind of paying for the carbo jet, right? For them to to get the pin if they don't want to draw it up. So then fine, give the people two options, but look at it in a realistic way. Now, I have grave concerns over GLP-1s. Please don't misunderstand that as my disclaimer. There is a lot to be investigated with that. And so there's lots of risks to it. It's not a one size fits all. But what I'm saying is that if we can give people the tools to lose weight, they'll have a healthier life.
Right.
They'll go to work more often. They'll be able to play with their kids and stay healthier and more active. So it's a great drug, but it's not for everybody. And so, but we have to get these costs down so people can afford them.
When you're ready, I want to talk about what Summer's talking about. He asked about the 911 calls, and we have been very vocal in trying to support the dispatch. And when they were talking about all that at the county council meetings, me and Catherine both stood up there and asked the council to support them and give them more training. They just don't listen to us.
Well, the problem with that 911 dispatch, and that is something that I probably will go after if I'm in the Senate House, those AI 911, that's very dangerous. A computer can only, weed out so much, right? And I just think that's very dangerous. And so that's something I'm listening to that whole thing. I don't think that's a good idea. These AIs at 911 and what they're doing.
I don't either.
I don't think this is a good idea. We're going to have some problems. And I'm telling you right now, right there again, there's going to be some liability on the county that's going to have to deal with this. Now, this person says, I'm not against Catherine. I'm just asking tough questions, and she's going to have to be able to handle that. Honestly, I think she's the right person in the wrong race. Well, what race would you like me to run?
Governor.
I mean, I don't know. And that's the thing. I'm open to listening, right? And I don't mind your questioning. I'm watching the old ways cannot work. This thing of what is your platform? I'm going to vote for you because of your platform. People need to be saying these platforms are garbage.
No, because you know what I learned when we went through our thing with the Republican Party? They write the platform rules. Kyle Pierce wrote the Republican Party platform rules, and then they expect all of us to agree with what Kyle and a handful of people said we should be platforming on to be able to use their, quote, Republican Party platform. But it's like, okay, perfect homelessness. I don't think anybody should be using that as a platform, because it's not really something that's going to be easily solved in the first year, the second year, or the fourth year of, whoever's term. So anyway, back to what you were saying. That was
well, and this JB Goes says you're too locally focused. Well, here's the deal. My representation is District 25. That's locally. And you better believe I'm going to scream from the rooftops for my people.
Because you become the rep in the whatever
tell me
people.
That me speaking on behalf of healthcare and insurance premiums and pharmacy benefits and the cost of things doesn't affect the entire state, because it does. So being too locally focused, let me tell you, my opponent has lost all sight of us locally. Look around.
You don't even like to answer questions.
You don't see him at a meeting regarding the water issues going on in LaPel.
Oh, no.
You don't see him in Alexandria talking about the water issues in Alexandria. You don't see him at the city of Anderson talking about whatever it is. I mean, there's water issues there too, but there's bigger issues going on there. You don't see him posting about the overspending that's going on in the county. Maybe we need to get back to focusing on who we are supposed to be representing. Maybe that's part of the lost art, and so there's so much out there that needs to be addressed. Part of the question becomes, where do you start?
That's always the hardest part is, I mean, what do you tackle first? But I want to go back to something Splinter mentioned over here in and this is something I noticed not too long ago myself, Splinter. What was it? You said the 911 calls and the cops are getting sent to homes that are more like a family dispute than an actual emergency. That is a shift that I have seen. And I have to agree with him on that. There needs to be they have to be able to draw the line somewhere on,
Well, but
falls
this
like
is what I said. This is what I said back in 2021 when, Stephanie Mellinger was like, we're out of COVID, we don't have to do anything with, and I went to the podium right after and I said, we are far from done with COVID. There will be a fallout from this. There will be mental health crises. There will be suicides. There will be drug addiction. We are far from out of the woods of COVID. And here we are 6 years later. And what does our death rate look like? What does our addictions look like? What does our crime rate? What does our mental health look like? We're far from it. Right? And so when people ask me, Catherine, pick a platform. Well, you know what? Look at America today, right? So I don't know, a week ago, were we talking about war? But now we've had to switch gears.
Oh, yeah.
And so a lot of times it's like, well, you want me to pick a platform? Well, there's just so many to choose from. And so what I need to do is have town halls, right? I need to have town halls with my people.
Yep.
And I need to find out what they feel is the most important issues we need to tackle first. And then from there, I will decide which ones are going to get the most attention and how we're going to move on that. And believe me, we're going to move on those things.
It's just right? Time. Yeah.
And like I said, I'm telling you right now, what I would do differently than what's going on right now, you all know that I will go live in the State House. Every one of you knows I will go live in the State House.
That would be funny if you did live in the State House like Rebecca Crooms used to.
You can guarantee I'm going to go live.
We're going to get you. What is that thing? The cam.
Right?
GoPro. We're going to
I'll have a GoPro. You can hear. When I come out of those sessions, I'm going to go live again. And for those people who are there, you're going to start spitting stuff out on my feed. If we haven't voted yet, you're going to just start putting it on my feed. And I'm going to hear what you have to say. And if we get to go back in, I'll go back in and say something on behalf of my constituents. And then at night when I'm coming home, we can have a conversation in the car. We can have a dash cam. I can sit there and talk to you the whole way home and say, this is what's happened. Tomorrow it's going to have these agendas. Please let me know. I may not be able to read your feed while I'm right here driving, but when I get home, I'll read what you want to talk about tomorrow, because me talking to you guys after the fact does nothing, right? I need to be talking to you while we are actually in session.
Right. Because then, like, once you go away, like 24 to 48 hours, like your brain, not saying that because your brain's an exceptionally, like, you're so smart, it's incredible, but most people's brains don't retain the information for that many days. So by the time 48 to 72 hours goes by, there's some things you may have forgotten,
right? I mean, and I feel like while we're in session, when we're in session, I feel like we should be having town hall meetings weekly. So I'd have to look at their calendar. If they don't meet on Wednesdays, I feel like Wednesday evenings would be a time that we would have a town hall.
It would be, the thing about that I could foresee being the problem is the church people wouldn't want to, they would rather have the Wednesday night services than attend a town hall.
And again, that would be whatever, because it just depends on how they fall. So we may not have a choice because they meet 3 days a week. So however that falls, we may do it on a Friday night. I may say, hey, we're going to do it on a Saturday afternoon. But weekly, I believe all senators and state reps should be having town halls in their community.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
and while we're in session.
and not doing stuff with the political action committees that say that they're private clubs and only certain people can attend. If you're going to come into a community, then it should be open for everybody to be able to attend. And then, as I was saying that, we got a question: what's going on with you and Bilbrey? We talked about this the other day. There's nothing going on between them. We just have way too much information, and we needed our own servers to start putting all of our stuff on.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that if Bilbrey needs me over on his show, I'm happy to go over there and talk. But it looks like he's setting up a studio right now, like he's moving and doing whatever. And so,
tech issues.
We have an election here that's coming up, so we have to keep moving forward. So that's my whole big thing is, what is this?
No, it's just a misunderstanding. So
an American farmer said you and your biggest supporter, Christopher Bilbrey, had a falling out. What happened there? I don't know who American. I don't know.
What was that question? I just answered them. Asked about some type of argument.
Yeah, like I could go on every night and talk about Madison County problems.
Yeah,
I mean, as much if people look at how much I post, and people are like, "Well, you're posting too much. It's inundating. It's all over the place." So that's why we've decided to take the message into a show. That's what we've decided to do at this point.
Individual, because between me and you, we have enough information to cover every single day of the week. I mean, in fact, I think we're going to have to get more people to come in to help us co-host these shows, because we got the stuff going on in Lapel. So Lisa, hopefully she'll be able to get on here one of these days. We got Lapel, Pendleton, we got stuff going on in Mark. I mean, there's stuff going on all over Madison County, and it's just, there's so much stuff to cover. It's just nuts, man. If you really saw
it's overwhelming.
The scenes looks like.
Yeah, it's overwhelming of all the information that's out there. And, I just try to keep putting information out. It's been so crazy at work this week. I really haven't been posting as much. The other big thing was Geringer did, he still got the case up in the Supreme Court or wherever he's got it, but he lost here in the county. And so what people need to understand, he's not going to be on the ballot.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. I understood it. So even though he's going to be speaking at the Tea Party thing next week, or at least he's on their flyer for next week, he's not going to be on the ballot this year.
And that's the whole thing that I tried to tell him. You can do it, but you're running against time. And that's why they have the challenges set up the way they do.
I mean, you got 7 days.
So much time that there's nothing they can do. They can't fight him. They can't bar it. So by the next time, he's going to have his Republican vote, and he's going to be able to do it. And this is why I tell people it's so important for you to get out in the primary. The primary is more important than anything in Madison County, because this is such a red community.
It is. Right? Well, I don't know, because now that I know what I know, with people getting signed off on, I think it's really hard to tell who is a true Republican until you really talk to them. I mean, here I go. I serve this nation, and that's up for debate. We can talk about, the semantics or, whatever later.
Have the ballots come out? Have the sample ballots come out yet?
You know what? I don't know.
And have they said when the testing of the machines are going to be yet?
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. And so JB goes, when the sample ballots come out, it will be interesting to see. But what I would do is, in voter registration, I don't think that, let me look at something, because that's funny that you mentioned that. You say he's on the ballot. Let me look this up real quick.
Oh, you know why? Because if he is there, it's because they had already printed them, because they were supposed to be doing that like the second week.
Well, I'm looking this up. Let me look this up real quick. And I think this is a good time that all of us check our voter registration right now.
Well, I did have the ticker going, and I'm trying to talk to everybody, and I'm trying to get the comments up. So you guys will have to bear with me. Eventually, I will figure out how to do the comments like Kate does. It's just in the StreamYard program, I'm getting everybody. So we're in right now, we're live on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different platforms, right? And so all of the stuff is coming into one, or what is this thing called? I don't know, the app that I'm using. And so it's kind of hard to communicate with everybody like this. That's why I've just been pointing it over to heads up. And then when we get the 2 chicks up, so the issue we're having with the 2 chicks podcast or the page, the YouTube channel and social media.
Okay. Let me be crystal clear to whoever the ghost is. Garinger is not on the ballot. If you go to voters registration, it's going to show you everybody who is on the ballot. Garinger's name is not there.
You can look at the Indiana
if you go to www.indiana
ballot.
Yeah, he is not on there. I'm looking right now. So let me be very clear about that. So you may not like my answers.
You just look. Can you show your screen? Can you share your screen, or is it or send it to me and let me share it? Because we've kind of just had our ugly mugs on the face for about an hour in, and I was getting ready to say
share screen.
We cut off, but
here.
Okay.
Okay. So here is.
There you go.
Okay. So here we go. This is
the top
Madison County.
Can you show what the address is? Is it the address that's going on the bottom, or did you?
Right here. IndianaVoters.in.gov.
Okay, there you go.
You just check your registration. So here's what's going on right here for the 5th district. And I just want you to know that none of these people showed up when Nicole and I were being questioned.
Nobody showed up.
We were in good standing. So I want you to know that not one of these 5th district people are worth a nickel.
I got a couple complaints about them now because I filed several complaints and nobody's even answered me back yet. And it's been
you just have to wait till they run out of their time. And then we go on here and we talk about who's running in Senate District 25, the Republican ticket. Again, everybody needs to be clear. I am still a Republican.
Right.
That nothing has changed with that. I am still a Republican candidate on the Republican ticket. It doesn't matter what the 5th district believes or thinks.
So basically what the Republican Party has done in most states, it's became like a not a 501c3. What are they?
No, what the Republican Party has done for me, they have said, Catherine, you don't have to donate to us. You do not have to attend any of our functions. You're good to go.
Yeah, but that's not because what got me so
that's confused. Exactly what it is, Nicole. There's nothing else to that.
But there's a Republican Party that's the people that believe they're the Republican Party.
There's nothing.
There's the GOP people that run a club that they have.
They are nothing.
Yeah, they're just like a church organization.
No, what they are is just like the KKK.
But not the church organ. Yeah, because they definitely aren't showing Jesus.
You want to compare it, it's just like the KKK.
All, my Lord.
You have to follow these rules. You have to only like these people. You can only be with this color. You can only, that's what it is. Look around Madison County.
This post
There's not one minority.
Right. And I never really put that into perspective. Like I had never really thought about that until you and what was it? The Herald Bulletin brought that article up the other day. And then said it's really hard for any minorities.
What I mean, this has been a self-designed movement, is what it's been, and it's a sad situation. And so, if you look at all of this, what makes me so frustrated is that at least District 35, she's contested when she gets to the general, but she should be contested now. Rory never shows up for Madison County. Ever.
No. And then what she did at the Tea Party last round was, well, and several people called it out. And I don't know if it was on the Bilbrey show.
She didn't show up. She doesn't even show up.
But it's not just that she don't show up. If somebody has a camera or they try to take a photo of her, and she'll try to hide her face while they're with the cam.
Well, if I did as horrible behavior as her, I'd hide my face too.
Well, she's done some stuff.
And every one of the it looks like all the judges are good except for District 5. There's an Emily Hammond who's a Democrat so Scott Nork will have an opponent in the fall. Andrew Hanna, unless they find a Democrat, he's a sure for. And this is the thing: if we don't have people who run, you're never going to change the culture. They're just passing the baton. That's all they're doing.
Don't worry about being qualified. They'll train you. They'll get you the training that you need to do the job.
Into the arena. Linda Smith is being challenged by Lisa Summers, so that'll be an interesting race.
It's already an interesting race, man.
And then whoever wins that one, they'll be against Stephanie May Stanis as a Democrat.
And that's going to be an intense what do you call that? Not campaign, competition.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's going to be a good one to watch.
Stephanie Stanis, that would be a showdown.
That's going to be a showdown.
He's got a huge following. So,
super huge.
You've got Rick Gardner, who wasn't making enough money as the commissioner, only been in there for 2 years. He needed a pay raise. He knew he couldn't get one because we're decreasing everybody. And so what's he do? He goes over and gets the treasurer spot where that gives him about a $20,000 increase in his pay. And so that's what he's done. Then
how many positions has he held? Like, because I didn't know this until I ran his voter registration not too long ago. And he's held like 5 different elected official positions, several of which he didn't even complete his term before he ran for something different because he didn't like where he was at.
And that's the same thing that he ran for mayor of the city, right? And he couldn't win in the city. And so what that tells you, people, is that people who really know Rick Gardner would never vote for Rick Gardner. He wins in the county because people don't know him. But in the city, people don't want him because they know him. That's the whole thing. People have to put those things together. The sheriff's race is highly contested, so that'll be interesting. I would imagine that Norm Rayford is going to win the Democrat seat. The Republican
he's popular. A lot of people like him.
Yeah, the Republican seat, I think it's going to be Jonathan Culp. I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be Jonathan Culp.
And I don't like Jonathan Culp, but after I watched, because everybody knows my little tiffs I get back and forth with his parents. But I have to say, after I watched Tuesday night's county council meeting, which I was hoping we'd get to talk about a little bit, and maybe we'll just go in at the end and show you some pictures, but they were very giddy at Tuesday night's meeting. I mean, Jonathan Culp blushed a couple times. They were all excited about this new contract. And just based off of what I saw on Tuesday night, Jonathan Culp is giving everybody a run for the Republican seat in the primaries.
So it'll be interesting to watch. I'm always fascinated because everybody's like, he can't win. He can't win. He's not going to win. Well, here's what people need to understand. You're talking to people who vote. You're talking to your group of people. But there's a whole county out there. I mean, I lost by 500 votes. You would think that this county would say, wait a minute. Todd Culp has a $500,000 bankruptcy that he settled in May of 2024 or March of 2024 that you wouldn't want him as an auditor. He can't even manage his own personal finances.
I thought it was bigger than that. He owed more.
No. And then he wins by 500 votes and he spends like $60,000 on his campaign. Now, if I was a judge, I'd be like, wait a minute here. This guy just filed for bankruptcy 2 months prior, and he just spent $60,000 on a race. What?
Wait. Which one was that? Oh, Big Culp Senior.
Yes.
He spent 60 grand on his
Something
race?
crazy. Yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
wait.
it's some crazy.
Did you look at his CFAs? Is that how you know that? And
Yeah.
that campaign financials is
Yeah.
what?
Loaning himself stuff. So as you go through here, again, we're going to recycle Dan Gert, who doesn't say boo to anybody. So that's a
No,
rubber
he
stamp for
hides.
commissioners.
He hides off in his office. I have never seen him come out of that office until this season. And then when we're in there trying to go into meetings, he's standing in there watching everybody come in and out the door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
And Larry Davis will be assessor. I mean, he's got no contestant. I mean, if you're mad about your property taxes, you got to find somebody who's going to run. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Rob
Larry
Steele
Davis hires felons, just putting that out there.
This is how arrogant Rob Steele is. He's a horrible councilman.
He looks
horrible.
like he
if
behaves
you
like
go to the Small Village Fair, he's stumbling around drunk. He can't even walk. It's embarrassing that our councilman looks like that.
Okay, so last month's meeting, him and Jonathan Culp get into a fight at the podium, or what is their thing called? The council table?
The dais?
What is another word, like in just like simple woman terms? What else can we call it? Because it's not really the podium, is it? It's not really a desk.
No, the podium. I just call it the dais.
I'll forget that. The dais. Okay, council podium. Okay, that's easier for me to remember. Rob Steele and Jonathan Culp at one point start going at it. And I've never seen a look of shock on somebody's face as I did on Rob Steele's. He just couldn't believe the experience that he had just had at that council chamber. It was so funny. So he's dry to me. He shows like everybody else, I can read him. I can read Keller kind of. She makes expression. Each one of them makes certain expressions. No, not Steele. He's up there like super Steele. Hey, go back. Were you done? You didn't even get to the other ones.
They're just state delegates. They take 11 from each.
Is that your card or mine? Who's your delegate? Because some people are actually having to run the delegate race.
Not much. It's the same.
Because I don't have to.
No, I mean, they take like 11 or something. I can't remember. It's 11 or 12 from each area. So you've got all these at-large people.
How many at-large make it?
Like 11 or 13. I can't remember the exact. I want to say 11 from each section.
So at-large 11, District 1 11, District 2 11. Right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay. Where's local?
Huh?
Where's our local? Was I on there? Did you already talk about
here? No. Here's the deal. If there's more that you actually have to have a vote, then they will show all the people. So if you look at District 4, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they must take less than 11. And so they've got all the people on there. But if it's just a go through, they don't put the names on there.
I know what it was. Go back up to the county council. Oh, Ludi Watkins is running Democrat. Interesting. Back up to where Steele was at. So you were on that for a minute. So who all are county council people? Is that there?
No, I don't see. No, this is my ticket. This is my ticket. So your ticket will have.
Mine will be different. Okay.
Yeah, yours will be different. So
let me see. I'm going to pull it up.
That's kind of what we've got going on with that. I don't see any PCs on here for the Democrats. That must mean that none of them are contested. So anybody who filed for PC on the Democrat looks like they're a pass.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and so that's what becomes the problem. The Republicans need to start thinking. You need to start thinking. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know what your area is, it tells you you're active. It tells you what your precinct is, what you would be running for if you want to be a PC. That's where you would find all of that stuff right there.
I got the other screen pulled up when you're ready to roll so they can see it from my side.
So
okay, here, let me share mine.
So here's what I want people to understand. People are asking me, as a concerned citizen, how do I research my people and my candidates? I encourage you to go to mykase.gov for Indiana. and type in their name, but you have to make sure that when you do that,
Hold
that
on
you
one
have their legal name. Okay. Meaning that Todd Culp, you're not going to find much on him. But if you put Robert Todd Culp, you'll find stuff. Sometimes if you can't find on the candidate because you think there should be something, put their spouse in. And then from there, you might see what their spouse's real name is, and then you can go back. You kind of have to be your own investigator with this stuff. So I would encourage people to go to my case.
But also ask, because there is some of us on the ticket, like myself, that, I got sued by a politician during the pandemic, and it cost me, it damaged me financially, consumer injuries, all that jazz. I won the court case, but I did get sued. And so that's why I am trying to find work to pay some of that off. So it's not like I don't want to pay it. I didn't claim bankruptcy. I'm still,
Well, and that's the thing. And here's the thing, American farmer, I'm glad you're registering to vote. Listen, people, I get it if you're a sovereign citizen. I get it if you're a liberal. I get it. I get that you have your own convictions and you have your own beliefs. But right now, we've got to get me into seat in order for us to start doing what we do. I mean, I'm not going to tell somebody, well, you're a sovereign citizen or you're a liberal, so you don't get to speak at the podium. You know me, I'm going to say, let them talk.
Right, because everybody else, they won't let you.
And I have a problem with this 3-minute constraint.
I do
we
too.
Can't get our thoughts out in 3 minutes. How do I expect you guys to get your thoughts out in 3 minutes? I mean, yes, we have to have some type of time limit, but 3 to 5 minutes, it doesn't give you enough time. And here's the thing. If we say, okay, we're going to cut everybody off in 7 minutes, I think 7 minutes, you should be able to get your information out, right? Not everybody's going to use their 7 minutes, but that's the least I can do because you're paying me a salary. Why shouldn't I be listening to you? So those are the kind of things that I just want people to understand. And that's, again, maiden names could be in there. You just have to get really creative when you look around. And I'll tell you, people put people's date of birth on social media, or they put them, in Facebook, they put the year and the date of their birthdays, which, okay, that's fine. And for those people who want to go run into Facebook right now and take your year off and what year you were born and whatever, go ahead. Because if you're really smart and you look back 3 years and somebody's got a 45 in there, you just have to do some math. Yeah. I mean, this isn't rocket science, people. And so, and I'm not trying to insult people, but literally that's the kind of person I am. People, they're going to only give me this much information at the state. But believe me, my mind doesn't work only in this little piece. I will be thinking with so many different things on how we can get information or what we can do. Like Dave Sargent likes to say it about me, I'm as subtle as a hand grenade, but I have great strategy when it comes to getting some things done. So that's kind of where I want people to go. Here's your
yeah, I just pulled that up real quick. I didn't know if you wanted to say.
You can go ahead. You can talk about you.
All right, give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. You can just talk about maybe some of these other, like Pete Hewer running for office. And
of course Pete Hewer is running, because why? Pete needs like 18 more months so that he can get a retirement. So of course he's running. So, and he didn't want to run for a big one, like a county seat, because then everybody would figure out Pete's running for something. I mean, Kelly Hewer wants to tell you people that I'm not going to sign off. Things are going to be different. It's going to be, what's different? She's still got her husband running for something. I mean, there's no difference here. The nepotism is still the same. Kelly Hewer needs to go. I don't care. That doesn't make me a Republican in bad standing. It just makes me an honest Republican. I mean, I think Lincoln would appreciate that. I mean, tell me, what has Kelly Hewer done for us? Because she certainly hasn't gone to Jonathan Culp and said, are you out of your mind? You're not running for this. If you want to run for this, Jonathan, then you go attend the academy. You go get a degree in criminal justice, and then you can run for it. But she's not doing anything of the sort. Here's the thing, Jonathan wins. This is on Kelly Ewer. That's your GOP leading you. Your GOP leading you just let a 26-year-old with no experience, never put a uniform a day in his life, win the election, right? And then think about it. Each one of the candidates for sheriff have been in law enforcement longer than Jonathan has been alive.
Right. I did notice that.
Now, I don't have a problem with having a young sheriff.
Neither do I.
As long as they've gone to school and they've done the training that's appropriate for that role, but there are no rules. There are no rules
for running for sheriff.
For running for sheriff, for running for coroner, for running for anything. And people want to say to me, "What's your experience in government?" Well, I don't know. What was my opponent's experience in government? We all have to start somewhere.
Right.
Right. And so that's where that becomes. And maybe we need to have people in there that aren't preconditioned.
Right. So that enters into the next point, and it's like 8:38 and Bilbrey comes on in like 20 minutes. So we're going to try to wrap this up here real quick. But do you want me to talk about McHale, or did you mention something about him when I wasn't paying attention?
No, and this person has a good point. Scott Mellinger was a drywaller when he ran for Pelham. Well, let me explain something to everybody right now.
Where's that?
Mellinger has an issue with commitment. He has an issue with commitment. The guy doesn't know if he's a Democrat or if he's a Republican.
Well, he did just pull a Republican ticket the last election.
He is now a Republican.
We have the voter registration.
Here's the real test, everybody. The sheriff's race is in swing for 2026. If he loves his party as much as he does, he'll pull a Democrat ticket and vote for Democrats.
If not,
I guarantee you he's pulling for a Republican ticket.
So he can try to win them. And we got 14.
So he can try, and I need to figure out, because I think he's in Gardner's district for commissioner, because that's been the whole goal the whole way. I knew back in 2020 that he was planning on running for commissioner at some point, but knew a Democrat couldn't win. So love Mellinger or hate Mellinger.
He's smart.
Exactly. And you know what else about Mellinger? He thinks you all are dumb voters.
Well, a lot of them do. I mean, hence why we have 14 elected officials that used to be Democrats that are now Republicans.
Absolutely.
And many of those names were mentioned as she was reading through these, and we're not going to bring that up yet. We'll probably bring it up like not next week, but the week after. Yeah. So back to, well, speaking of, McHale Vaughn used to be a Democrat, and
hardcore Democrat.
Yeah, he
was such a Democrat, he was willing to give up his freedom for it. He was willing at any cost to win races for people.
Ooh, I got a good video clip if we want to watch it. It's about the remember Rodney and Russ Willis talking about the largest election crime in Madison County on.
Yeah. And we'll have to bring that. We'll have to bring that.
We'll do that.
I don't want to go into Bilbrey's.
Yeah, I don't want to cut into his time.
Here's the thing: if there's anything about me and Bilbrey, I'd be like, nope, stay on here. Let's go about do this. No, we're not trying, and we're coming on at 7. It's really hard for me to get home and or get out of the office.
Yeah.
Do anything that's possible, no matter where I'm at, because I got to check on somebody. So then sometimes I'm stuck checking on one person, and I got to stop where I'm at and podcast. It's really hard, and so now I've started carrying around my computer with me because it's so hard. So I, in District 2, if that's where you live, hopefully you're going to go vote for Nicole Kapuzinski. Hopefully she'll win. As far as I'm concerned, McHale had his 4 years. He did not really do anything that impressed me.
He just likes staying in power.
And there was nothing worthy of that at all. So, it'll be interesting to see.
And I want to mention, before I cut the screen off, Obadiah Smith Jr. I got in trouble for sharing his Facebook post after meeting him at my Veterans Coffee Club on Saturday. Speaking of which, if you're a veteran and you want to come have coffee and donuts with us, we'll be there at the Salvation Army in Anderson on Meridian Street at 9 a.m. on Saturday, and we'll be doing the first Veterans Coffee Club podcast. So everybody's invited to watch that if you want to. But back to Obadiah. He's a veteran, very nice guy, very nice man in general. And that's really pretty much all I said. And I got put in a District 5 public admonishment punishment.
And just so everybody knows, on Mike Shively, here's the deal. Mike Shively is only going to do half of his term. That's all he's doing. He's not doing more than 2 years.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Why? Is he retired?
And what he's going to know, because he can get a retirement. And then what they're going to do is they're going to try to caucus in Tiffany Harless.
Well, I kind of like her now. She's
so
grown.
That's the plan. But I think sometimes people underestimate what's going on in all the PCs. And this is why it's so important for people to run for PC. So start thinking about that because when they're doing caucuses, and we're going to see a lot of transition over the next several years, because it's not going to be as comfortable as it used to be in those seats. And I think people will eventually resign. I think people will start caucusing in different people. And so these PC seats are going to become more and more important to us.
Now, aren't we running 2027? PCs are up. The Republicans
28 is when they'll be up for Madison County. So if you're thinking about Republicans for PCs, that'll be in 28. So that's kind of, yes, we are all sovereign in some way. And so what I want to tell people, and what I want people to know as we leave this whole arena, it's arena, right? Like Christopher Bilbrey always says, it's a blood sport. Politics is a blood sport.
It sure is.
Never underestimate that. It certainly has been the battle of the gladiators. That's what Abdul Shabazz says about Madison County when he talks about us, that it is the battle of the gladiators over here.
I feel honored.
Yeah, we make it quite a ways. But what I want people to know is that Teddy Roosevelt, he says it best, the man in the arena, and this is what we're going to leave you with. It is not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have been done them better, right? The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring to do greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. And he said that back in April of 1910. And what I want people to take away from all of this, win or lose, we tried. We tried for the people. And that is the win for all of us. Because if we don't give you a choice, what do we have? And so now I leave this election. Yes, I'm going to fight for it, but I leave it to you, the people, to say we've had enough. We want change.
Right.
And understand, change is inevitable. It's coming. But growth is intentional. And that's what the voters need to show everybody now. So I hope you've enjoyed this show. We will try to do a couple more shows. It's a little nuts right about now for me because my daughters are on spring break. And so I will try to be as hit as miss as I can. And Carrie McFadden, I talked about this on the show already. So if you want to listen in, I did. and I'm struggling with finding some documentation to support that. So we're going to work on that. So that's kind of where we're at. Yes, please give us a thumbs up. Please follow our page. The more you follow it, the more we can put out, and
Right.
we'll get bigger and start covering other areas.
We have to get
Anyways,
more likes on the Two Chicks YouTube channel and the social media before they'll let us go live from the new channel. So
right.
I have it going through my Heads Up production page because it was already established, and that's just what we started on. And then we decided to make the other stuff because there's just so much stuff to cover, and we didn't want it all getting mixed in. And then
And Stumblefoot says it best right here, right? This is the first time in history that the masses get to see and hear some transparency and truth thanks to local podcasts. It's not easy to put these podcasts up.
It's not.
And it's very time consuming. I couldn't do it without Nicole, and I'm forever grateful for what she's been able to put into this.
You're welcome.
And I want people to understand that it doesn't matter to me what people want to say about me. If you don't see me responding to some of these people, it's because the truth never needs defending. And if you see me complimenting people for making their comments on my page, even if I don't agree with them, I am appreciative that they still engage no matter how much they dislike what I post.
Well, you're better at that than me because I'm from Anderson, and sometimes I'll take off my flip-flops and throw one at you. I'm working on it, though. I'm not going to do that in the chambers, I promise. It might be
right
for a good library episode, but no, just kidding. I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
And then again, I want to just end with, if you've watched me earlier today on my live video, it is like colon cancer awareness kind of going on right now. And if you do not want to do your colonoscopy, a great start would be the blood test. Again, nothing replaces a colonoscopy. Please understand that. But something is better than nothing. And I just want to let everybody know that if you have commercial insurance, it generally covers almost all insurances. So I will leave it at that. And I appreciate Nicole for taking the time to do this. And of course, if there's anything I can answer for anybody, please feel free to reach out to me in Messenger. If I haven't gotten back to you within 48 hours, which I try very hard to get back to you within 12, please message me again. If I've responded and I haven't followed up again, please respond to me. I will also get signs out as soon as they come in. So will Nicole.
Yes.
And we will be talking to you soon. Nicole, do you have any last minute?
I was going to add to that. So if anybody watching or that watches in the next week or two wants a sign, make sure to reach out to me or Catherine and let us know so we can get some out to you. And then we got 10 minutes the political spotlight with Christopher Bilbrey and Kate Thornburg. Did I get right? And Kate, they'll be on here in about 10 minutes if you guys want to head over to the political spotlight and check them out. I'm not sure what kind of show they got going for tonight, but there's your next plug if you guys want to still get some engaging conversations about politics in Indiana in general. So, all right, with that, everybody, good night, and we'll see you next week or this weekend when I go live on some specific topics.
Stumblefoot, you can get back. Relax. This is a blood test.
Okay, I was getting ready to hit end stream. Or do you want to, you guys ain't
no
finished? Is that it?
Yeah. We don't do that anymore. We just do a simple blood test. So
okay.
if your provider is still checking you and you haven't had a blood test first for a PSA, be concerned. And I'll leave it off that. All right. We'll see you guys. Have a good one.
Shalom. Good night, guys.